All right, today we're going to write a new chapter and we're going to bounce to a new POV character that we haven't written yet. A decent amount of discovery today as we sort of figure out what that character's voice is in this first draft. This is fun because this is a subplot that I've worked into the outline early on and that I've been referencing in other chapters. And now we're finally going to sort of execute on this subplot. I'm not married to it. I'm not 100% sure it even really belongs in the book. It's not really in the A story. It's more of a B story or C story. But we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. And we're going to get our 1600 words, hopefully. It should be a good time. Some of the elements that I have sort of arranged for this chapter are going to retcon things that we wrote earlier. So I also need to make sure that I make notes for myself about what to edit in the future and what changes I'm making that'll affect earlier chapters, because I don't need to like go back and edit those now and sort of get wrapped up in being an internal editor. I think that would halt my progress pretty significantly. And plus we may retcon what we're retconning today if we end up changing the outline again. So I'm just going to make some notes about the changes that will be affected in earlier chapters by what we write today. I'm going to write and we will see how it goes. I'm feeling pretty good about this chapter, I think, overall. We're over 50 pages in now. We've gotten past the introductions, we've gotten past sort of the inciting incidents for each of the major plots. And so now we are hitting that part where we're progressing the plot, we're developing character, and the story is advancing, but we're sort of entering the very beginning of the middle. And that, I feel like, no matter what story you're writing, is sort of famously difficult, because oftentimes you know how the story starts and it's a pretty, not easy, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward to like get a story set up with an inciting incident. And oftentimes, and this novel included, you have the ending in mind and you sort of know what the final decision the character is going to make will be, and you know how all of the dominoes will fall at the end. But populating that middle ground with stuff that is interesting and compelling and fun to read and delivers the appropriate information to the reader at the right time, I feel like I'm entering the section of the book where you just start overthinking everything you write. And I've definitely done that the last few writing sessions. So I need to like reframe my mind that like, okay, we are first drafting this. I am just getting as many words out as I can that generally fit the shape of what I'm picturing for this. And in other words, we are generating the block of marble, and I need to worry about carving it later. We're going to try to get a high volume of words written today. We're going to try to get this chapter knocked out. I'm going to try to have fun doing it as well. All right. I'll catch you afterwards. All right. We had a pretty great writing session today. We wrote a total of 2,047 words today across two different scenes with two different point of views. That brings our total, including some edits. I went back and I did go back and edit a few lines. I added a few things further up. And our total for all of the scenes that we've written thus far for part one of this novel, 18,934 words. That's a lot. We've almost got 20,000 words of this draft done, which is pretty cool. It was a good session. The scene that I referenced in the before part of the talk, I did end up writing that scene, and it was super fun. So that was the easiest scene so far, where I think I had psyched myself out a little bit in my head thinking about that one, because I've plotted it out probably a week ago in the outline. It's like, you need to write this. It's a character I haven't written before, and so in my head I was like, this is gonna be a headache, and I'm gonna have to sit there and kind of toil away to get the voice right for this new POV. Super easy, done in whole scene done in 5 pages, knocked out. Obviously, it's still very first drafty. That's the caveat that goes for literally any positive thing I say. Is this is still a rough vomit draft, but the scene flowed really smoothly. Words just came. I wrote that whole scene pretty much in one sitting, and then when we came back, no, actually, I wrote. I did get a tripod. Said I wasn't going to overproduce things, and I did get some really cheap little light bars as well. Don't blame me. Look, it was really boring to edit, the hyper basic footage. So I'm spicing it up a little bit. Indulge me. Anyway, all that to say. So I wrote that scene in one sitting, and then before doing a break or anything, I jumped right into another scene, completely different point of view, and just started writing. And that was weirdly easy today. Now, that second scene was already in progress. It was something that I left off. It was actually, it's the scene from last week, the one where I said I'm going to need a lot of time. I need to come back to that one fresh. Apparently, I just needed a little bit more time to let it bake unconsciously, I guess, because even though I couldn't get it started yesterday, today I finished scene one and then just immediately banged out scene two. And when I started it, I thought, okay, I'll make a little bit of progress on this, even though I didn't plan to today. And then eventually took a break, came back to it later tonight, and I finished that scene. That one was the hard one, and it's done now, which is really exciting. Today was every bit as positive and affirming as yesterday was the opposite, in terms of me feeling feeling kind of aimless with the story. I feel a lot better today. So I should do myself a favor, and now that I've sort of unexpectedly finished these two scenes, the one that were primed in my brain, I should do myself a favor and outline, not literally outline, but I should write down just on a sticky note on my desk, start with this scene tomorrow, because I haven't given myself a whole lot of time to process and daydream about what I'm going to write next, because I assumed I'd be working on those two scenes for the rest of the week. But no, we'll move on to something new tomorrow. Hey, don't jump down. Be careful. Don't knock down my light bulbs, please. For the love of God. Just come down the normal way. You want to get in your chair? Is that what it is? Okay, what else? Really, just the words felt like I was on a hot streak, where I could have kept going today. I'll be honest, once I hit about 1,900 words, I was like, let's just make it an even 2,000 and probably call it there, because it's getting a little late. I felt great. Got those scenes knocked out, and it was a serendipitous thing that writing about 2,000 words netted me the ending for both of those scenes. And now I'll head into tomorrow with a fresh new part of the outline to tackle. I think it'll be great. What do you think? This week has had its ups and downs, but we're still going strong, and we are making headway. We're still adding to that word count. Yesterday, a second wave of like doubts hit me late at night, but the specific flavor of these was that, oh my God, you have like these 8 weeks in which you have like some free time to write, and you chose to write something that you won't be able to finish in 8 weeks because I know this novel won't be done at 50,000 words. And so last night I was thinking to myself, like, should I have picked a 50,000 word novel and then like had a finished first draft at the end of the summer? Like that would be nice. Instead I'll finish these 50,000 words. The draft will probably not be done. I'll be beginning a new term at a graduate writing program where I'll be busy with a handful of other major writing assignments. I know that I probably won't have time to work on this project for a few months once September rolls around. Was this the right time to write this manuscript? But you know what? I feel like no matter what I would have picked, I would have had some flavor of this kind of doubt. So we're just gonna roll with what we got. Plus, it's turning into a pretty cool story, I think. All right, that's enough rambling for now. Both cats are closing in on me and asking for attention or dinner or something. We'll finish the final day of the week strong tomorrow, and we'll keep getting some good words written. Thanks for checking in on the project. I'll check in with you one more time this week.